Hello and welcome to my video. I have to tell you that not only do I like stickers, but I also like the optical illusions and impossible shapes, and that's why in today's tutorial we'll be recreating one of my sticker sheets from my Etsy shop, which you can find on the address cuteandglued.etsy.com. And not only you can get those as a physical stickers, but you can also get those as a digital download files in the form of the Silhouette Studio project, so you can open this in your Silhouette Studio and print it and cut it on your own. So the sticker sheet is named Cute Penrose Chicken, and it relates to the name Penrose Triangle, which is this triangle in here, which kind of looks cool as a 2D drawing, but you cannot construct this as a 3D object, as a 3D thing, because of course it's in a possible shape, so it's impossible. So I thought maybe I can make this a little bit more cute by making one of those sides in a form of like a chicken or a bird. And as you can see, I have like 3 different variations where this one has all those small details. There is this middle sized one with a little bit of details. It still resembles the chickens because there are eyes and nose or whatever it's called. And there is this third one, which is the smallest one without any additional details. So I guess we can recreate this middle one. So let me copy this in the clipboard and paste this in a new document. I will maybe make it a little bit bigger, and we will try to examine the shape itself. And you don't have to follow those steps which I'm doing right now, because I just want to make sure that we understand how this shape is being laid out. So what I will do is I will try to maybe make it as a triangle, because you can see that the outer part kind of resembles the triangle. Of course, with the edges being a little bit cut off, like so, but we don't have to care about it right now. So let's say this is a triangle, and let me just increase the line width just so we can see it better. And we can imagine that those inner shapes are just offsetted lines for the from the triangle. So if I draw a line like so, like this is the offsetted right line, and this is the offsetted left line, and this is the offsetted bottom line, you can see that those are pretty much aligned with those shapes. But that's not enough actually, because we need to offset it one more time. So we need to make sure that this is offsetted again to the middle, the right one is offset again to the middle, and the bottom one is again offset to the middle, which gives us a very small triangle in the middle. But now we can see that we just have to make sure that we fill the appropriate areas with appropriate colors. And for the start we will be just doing one of those 3 parts of the triangle. So let's say we'll only do the white chicken. So we will just make sure that we will offset the left side by 1 step, then we will offset the bottom one by 1 step and the right one by 2 steps, just so we will subtract this from the main shape. If that doesn't make much sense, don't worry too much, because as we will be drawing, you will see it much better. So let's start actually drawing. I will open the regular polygon tool and draw it with the Alt key pressed on my keyboard, just so it snaps to some angles. And I'll try to make it in a way that the bottom part is kind of like aligned on the ground. Then I will decrease the number of sides to just 3 and make it maybe a little bit smaller. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that the edges are a little bit cut off. And we can do this in several different ways, but the easiest one is to increase the line width to maybe like, I don't know, 40 points or so. And if I open the outline properties or the line style panel, we have a different options for the corners. By default it's set to the rounded corner, but I can change this to this one, which is called the flat corner. And immediately you can see we have a very similar shape to what we are looking for. So let me make this a little bit smaller. I will set any kind of fill, it doesn't really matter. And what I want to do now is to actually change this outline or change this line into the actual fill itself. And for this I will open the modify panel and I will click this Detach Lines, which will create fills out of the outlines. So now the red is just another fill. So I can select both shapes and I can merge this together using the weld tool. So now this is just one shape. I will probably change this fill to no fill and maybe increase the outline a little bit, just so I can see where, maybe make it black. Okay, so the next step is to make sure that we have those offsetted lines into the middle. So I will select this shape and I will open the offset panel and select the internal offset. Then what I will do is I will click inside this edit field and press the up arrow on my keyboard and just press it until those cut edges will disappear, so it will be connected into one point. So let me just keep increasing it until I will find the right spot, which is right about here, which is 10 millimeters in my case, but it of course depends on the line size and the size of your object. Just let me remember this value and hit apply. Now I will select this shape again, select the internal offset again and enter the same value. So it was 10 and now we are done. So we have those base shapes, but we need to make sure that we will be subtracting the right pieces. So let's say we want to start with this left side on here. So we need to make sure that we will resize the triangle holding this right resize handle like so. So we have this continuous shape on the left side. We also don't need the bottom part. So what I will do is I will select the duplicate option or mirroring option, and I will mirror it to the bottom like so, and make it a little bit bigger like so. So let me resize it. So this triangle will make sure to get rid of this area down here. So actually what I can do is I can set the fill color for this one to our final color, which will be white. I'm sorry, not the outline, but the fill color to white. And then maybe for those which I will be subtracting, I can change the fill to maybe like dark yellow or some nicer color, and decrease the transparency so we can see a little bit what's going on like so. So now we can imagine that if I select everything right now and I set the subtract from the modify panel, what will happen is only this left part, the white, will stay in place. But of course this doesn't look like the shape of our bird, so we have to make a few tweaks. For first I will duplicate this shape, so let's duplicate it and move it. Probably it wasn't duplicated, so let me just click it again. Duplicate this shape. No, sorry, it was welding. This is the duplication. Duplicate this shape and move it so it's aligning on this side and on the bottom of this triangle, like so. And I'm using arrow keys on my keyboard to just make sure that everything is positioned properly. Now we don't need this triangle anymore, so we have this kind of like this shape, which is more like this shape, but of course we need to cut off those two parts. So I will select this middle triangle if I can somehow. Let me do it like so. And I will duplicate it one more time. So I will again duplicate this triangle. I will rotate it by 180 degrees. Maybe make it a little bit bigger because it doesn't matter the size. And align it in a way that it's kind of aligned to the right side of the small triangle, like so. Again, I'm using arrow keys on my keyboard to just make small adjustments in the position. So I know it's kind of like a mess, but now the shape of the white fill, for in our case, is very similar to the shape of this triangle. So what I can do is I can select everything, or try to select everything, and inside the modify panel I will hit subtract, and immediately we will see that it's not the right shape. I mean, it is the right shape, which is surprising, but sometimes it may not be the right shape. If I would have like more, the width would be set like 5 points. Sometimes I can get some weird shapes going on, and what I have to do is to make sure that it's set to 0 points. That way the outline will not be treated as the fill. So let me do this one more time. Select everything, hit subtract, and now we have one of those shapes which we are looking for. So I can increase the line width to maybe 2 points, and what I can do now is, instead of following the same procedure to create those two other shapes, I can just duplicate this one and rotate it by 360, which is a circle divided by 3, which is of course 120 degrees. So open the transformation dialog, and for the rotation I will rotate it by 120 degrees. Then I will duplicate this again, and I will again rotate it by 120 degrees, like so. So now it's just a matter of positioning to make sure that everything is kind of close to each other. Again, using the arrow keys on my keyboard to make some small adjustments. And you can see that almost in no time we have the cool looking Penrose triangle inside the Silhouette Studio. So from now on it's just small tweaks. I will select this shape, open the fill properties and pick this color. And for the bottom one I will do the same thing. I will pick this orange, it's more like the pink color. I don't need those lines anymore, so I can get rid of those. And maybe I can also create those faces for the birds. So for the nose I will use a triangle, decrease number of sides, and of course pick the right fill and the outline. And the outline is actually not black but some very dark color, so I will use the same color for this outline as well. Maybe increase it to 3 points, and in here I will also increase this to 3 points. We'll rotate it to make it aligned, make it much smaller, and move it over this. And for the eye itself I will use what's called the flexi shapes. Click in the middle, drag it to the left side, and then make it 180 degrees, like so. set the same outline and same outline width, which is 3 points. Select this, make it a little bit smaller, like so, and I will probably make it even more smaller in a minute. And for the cheek, I will just draw a new circle with the shift key pressed on my keyboard, just so it's circle, not an ellipse. No outline. And for the fill, I will just pick this pink color. So let me just zoom in a little bit more over our shape and just make sure that the sizes kind of match our shape. So make it everything a little bit smaller, like so. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just selecting what I don't want to be selecting. Okay, I will select all 3 shapes and group this together and follow the same procedure. I will just duplicate this using the duplication button and rotate it by 120 degrees, move it over this one and do it one more time, rotate it and move it on the bottom one. And as you can see, those colors don't quite match, so I will ungroup those 2 groups and just pick the right fill and outline colors. I mean only the fill colors, so this should be more dark. I've just picked the wrong color, and this should be darker as well, like so. And for the cheeks, I will also pick the right colors, and this one. Okay, so actually the last thing which is missing compared to our image on the left side is to have some kind of white outline, and that's fairly easy to do. So I will select everything and duplicate it, moving it with the Alt key on my keyboard pressed, so I will create a copy on the bottom. Then I will create fill out of all the outlines, so inside the modify panel I will click Detach Lines, select everything and select weld this together into one shape. And for this one I will set the fill to be white and move it to the same spot as previously, like so. And I want to probably make this a little bit bolder and bigger, so I can either use the outline like so, like 5 points or maybe 10 points, or I can use the offset panel. It doesn't quite matter, because if I use the offset panel I don't have to do anything else. If I use the outline I can still change it anytime. Let me just send this to back. But if I want to use this as a cut line, I first have to convert it into the fill using this Detach Lines. So let me just detach the lines, weld everything together, and I can jump to the send pane. And of course I will print this and then cut only the white outline. So I would select everything, set the cut to no cut, and then only select the white outline and set this to be cut, like so. And you can see there is something wrong down here, which we can probably get rid of because we don't want this to be cut. So we can jump to the design and try to find what's wrong with this shape. And you can see there is some kind of hole, which we can easily get rid of by selecting this edit points, click this one and hit delete multiple times until it's gone. And there is something in here as well, so let me just delete this one as well, and now everything is great. And so that's it. That's how you create this impossible looking shape inside the Silhouette Studio in almost no time. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.